The Golden State Warriors are about to add exactly what they need. As you all know, the Golden State Warriors have not been going so well and they currently rank 11th in the Western Conference, and rumors have started to arise that the Golden State Warriors are going to make drastic changes and maybe make some big trades. In today's video, we're going to be going through 5 big trade potentials for the Golden State Warriors to get another superstar in the team that can help them bounce back from this season and help them win another NBA championship. So make sure to like this video, and guys, 92% of you are still not subscribed to the channel, so mean the world if you could subscribe to the channel, hitting that red button down below. The first player is none other than Zach LaVine. Now, as you all know, when it comes to the Chicago Bulls, they haven't been doing so well this season, and because of that, they are looking to really change things and get their superstars out of there to start their rebuilding process. Now, when it comes to the Chicago Bulls, Zach LaVine has been a huge asset for them, as Zach LaVine this season has averaged 21 points, 4.9 rebounds, and 3.4 assists. On top of this, he also has been shooting 34% from the three and a 44% field goal percentage, which is fantastic to see. But like I mentioned before, Chicago Bulls do rank 13th in the Eastern Conference, and they are looking to give him up. And I think the Golden State Warriors can definitely get him for a good price. Like I mentioned before, obviously the Bulls are very desperate to get rid of him, and a lot of teams aren't actually able to bring a package good enough in order to get Zach LaVine, but I do believe Golden State Warriors have the right assets. Now, it may be sad to see, but obviously players like Klay Thompson hasn't been playing the greatest, and a lot of you guys have been commenting on my videos that it may be time to actually move on. Now, also Kuminga is still in the mix, Moses Moody is still in the mix, and you can also add in Chris Poole if there is anyone that is definitely needed. But when it comes to those 4 players, I think, they won't need to trade all of them, but I reckon 1 or 2 of those 4 players can definitely have enough for Zach LaVine to join the Golden State Warriors, which I think will add a lot to the team of the Warriors and what they are trying to do. Not only do they get a great 3-point shooter, but they also get a 6'5" defender that also has the athleticism of Andrew Wiggins. I think Zach LaVine is still so early on into his career, even at 28 years old. He's just starting to get in those peak years of his NBA career, when he's got great experience but also great youth behind him. I think Zach LaVine and Andrew Wiggins teaming up on the same team, running that wing, could definitely be something special, and like I said, they wouldn't have to give up too much for it. What makes LaVine such a large asset, especially if he does join the Golden State Warriors, is that he's able to score on all 3 levels. Now, what I mean by that is he's got that inside game, he's got the mid-range game, and he also has the 3-point game, and I do believe that the Warriors could use a little bit of extra scoring. And on top of that, LaVine isn't a bad defender as well. It may not show up in the stat sheet. He does average 0.9 steals and only 0.2 blocks, but when it comes to his contest, his switching, his ability to be able to guard pretty much 1 through 4 pretty easily, I think Zach LaVine would make a great wing to the addition of someone like Stephen Curry, Andrew Wiggins, especially if we're looking at that starting 5. The second player is none other than Anthony Davis. Now, as you all know, Anthony Davis has been playing for the Los Angeles Lakers, and LeBron James in a most recent interview has said that the Lakers are not where they need to be, and he is looking to shake things up. So we could see the GM go at it again, and we may see him actually end up trading everyone. Right now, the Lakers do rank 7th, but it is looking like there are a lot of players in that Lakers squad that is on the trading block. We've seen LeBron do it time and time again, where he absolutely takes everyone from the team and trades them into a whole new roster, and we definitely could see something like that when it comes to the Lakers. Now, when it comes to Anthony Davis, he is somewhat on the chopping block, but so far this season, he's been averaging 22.6 points, 12.4 rebounds, and 3.3 assists. So he's been putting up some good numbers for the Los Angeles Lakers. He's also shooting 55% from the field and also 27% from the 3, which is a little bit subpar, but I do believe Anthony Davis at 6'10" and in 30 years of old can definitely still play with some of the best of them. Now, Anthony Davis may not just be the right fit for LeBron and the Lakers anymore, and we have seen this time and time again where superstars end up joining LeBron and it doesn't seem to be working the way they want it to work. So I do believe if Anthony Davis does leave, joins a team like the Warriors, we can definitely see prime Anthony Davis back in action, no doubt about it. Yes, he may be injury prone here and there, but with Lakers desperately wanting to get someone like AD and maybe their other stars out of there, we could actually get him for a very good price. Like I mentioned before, Klay Thompson's on the block, obviously Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, and Chris Poole, but there are definitely some big men that can be traded if needed, and I think Kuminga would definitely be a huge asset for that. I definitely do believe to get someone of Anthony Davis's caliber, we would need to chuck in some 1st round or maybe 2nd round draft picks, maybe even a couple there, because as you all know, Anthony Davis is still an 8-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA, and is still a 2020 NBA champ. So he does have a pretty big price tag to him, and because of that, the Warriors would have to give up quite a few, but it could be definitely worth worth it. The third player is none other than OG Anunoby. Now, as you all know, OG has been on the trading block for some time now when it comes to the Toronto Raptors, as OG does want to be a star of a team. Now, with the Toronto Raptors not doing so well so far in the Eastern Conference, where they do rank 11th out of all 15 teams in the Eastern Conference, he hasn't been going so well, and he hasn't also been very happy. Now, OG has been averaging 14.6 points, 4.1 rebounds, and 2.1 assists, while shooting 46% from the field and 40% from the three. So OG is an absolute sharpshooter out there, and I do believe the Warriors could use someone that can add that sharpshooting back in the roster. Now, when it comes to his minutes played, he is averaging around 31 minutes, which is, those starting numbers, but I do believe OG definitely wants to join a team that has the contention of winning an NBA championship. Now, the Warriors may not looking on paper as a Western Conference, they do actually rank 11th, but they aren't so far away from the playoff picture. So I do believe the Warriors can get a couple of wins under their belt, and if they get someone like OG Anunoby who can add that scoring, especially from the three-point line that they have been struggling with as of lately, I do believe he would be a huge asset. Now, when it comes to OG, he does play small forward, but he can definitely run shooting guard, and since he is 6'7" and is only 26 years of age, I think OG would be a huge asset due to the fact that he has a lot of youth behind him, but he also stands at 6'7". So the Warriors could be a much bigger lineup, and especially since Draymond Green is only 6'6" and is running that power forward, adding some extra height with OG, I think would definitely pay a lot of dividends. The fourth player is none other than Gordon Hayward. Now, as you all know, Gordon Hayward is a fantastic player, and he does play for the Charlotte Hornets so far this season, and he's been averaging 13.8 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 4.7 assists. So he's done a fantastic job this season, and he is averaging 42% from the field and 34% from the three-point line. But when it comes to Gordon Hayward, he has mentioned that he wants to play for a championship contending team, and right now the Charlotte Hornets do actually rank 12th in the Eastern Conference, and I do believe he definitely would want to join a team like the Golden State Warriors. Now, Gordon Hayward will definitely add that scoring that the Warriors definitely need. Not only can Gordon Hayward shoot the three ball very well, but he definitely has developed in his game to even become an elite scorer from all three levels. If we look at his effective field goal percentage, he is shooting 50%, which is great, especially for a shooting guard / small forward. Now, he does stand at 6'7", which would add that extra height, and even though he is 33 years of age, I think Hayward can still play with some of the best of them. When it comes to his defense, it's still second to none, and on top of that, Hayward has just become a very consistent player that can give you a bucket, no doubt about it. And I definitely do believe that is going to pay dividends in the future when it comes to what the Warriors are trying to build. He can definitely make an impact to the team as of lately, and I think getting someone of Gordon Hayward's caliber wouldn't have to give up so much. I definitely could see a one-to-one trade, whether that's Klay Thompson, Chris Paul, Kuminga, or even Moody, and maybe even just add one draft pick here or there. But when it comes to getting someone like Gordon Hayward, he isn't a superstar, status type player anymore. He doesn't have that high trade value that was once from Gordon Hayward back in his Boston Celtics days, but I do believe Hayward, if given the right opportunity and in the right system, which I do believe is definitely the Warriors, he can definitely blossom into an all-out superstar. Now, when it comes to Hayward as well, what I love about his game is his consistency, first of all, but secondly, he does play a bit of 3 and D as well. He's a great defender, on-ball defender at that, and yes, it may not show up in the stat sheets, getting multiple steals and blocks, but you definitely see in the way he plays, he does a great job at some of the best stars and guarding them at a very close rate. Now, this season, he's actually averaging 1.1 steals, which is great, and also 0.5 blocks. The fifth player is none other than Buddy Hield. Now, Buddy Hield has been averaging 13.5 points, 3 rebounds, and 2.8 assists so far this season. Now, he's done a fantastic job for the Indiana Pacers, and when it comes to the Pacers, they do actually rank 6th. But when it comes to Buddy Hield, he hasn't had the biggest asset or biggest value in this team, and because of that, the Pacers are willing to give him up if the right trade value is there. Now, Buddy Hield, great player, 6'4", is still only 30 years of age, and I do still believe he has a lot of years left in the NBA, and that's why I do believe that the Warriors could use a little bit of youth in them. Even though he is 30, I still think that Buddy Hield is at that age where he's definitely in his peak years of playing NBA, and because of that, I think he would be a huge asset for what the Warriors are trying to do. Like I mentioned before, he is averaging 13.5 points, but even crazier than that is that he has a field goal percentage of 45% and an effective 3-point percentage of 40%. Yes, guys, you heard that right, 40%. There aren't a lot of players that can definitely do that, and that some players that can do that is already in that Golden State Warriors. So to add another sharpshooter such as Buddy Hield into this team would honestly be a matchup nightmare for anyone. Now, when it comes to Wiggins, he is becoming a great player, and because of that, I think he will stay in the starting lineup. But to have someone like Buddy Hield, who maybe comes off the bench, maybe that great six-man role, I definitely do believe they could use an extra scorer due to the fact that they did lose someone like Jordan Poole. Now, don't get me wrong, Chris Paul has been a great asset so far this season. However, I do believe what Chris Paul lacks a little bit is bringing that pure scoring that is definitely needed off the bench. I think Buddy Hield could definitely be a great, addition to that. Buddy Hield can definitely give you 10 to 15 points off the bench, and he has shown that consistently. Now, he does play a huge role when it comes to the Pacers, when it comes to his minutes out there, as he is averaging a measly 24 minutes. But when it comes to Buddy Hield, great efficient player, and I do believe his 3-and-D play style is something that the Warriors are definitely interested in, and it's something the Warriors do like, running them 3-and-D players, especially for those role-playing roles.